We are at the SVR Toyota Gazoo Racing South Africa facility. This is where I'm going to be having a conversation with a professional racing driver, Saood Variawa, so that he can tell us exactly what happens inside and a little bit about him. Join me.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good, thanks. Welcome to Toyota Gazoo Racing, SVR. This is the facility where we manufacture the Dakar Hiluxes. Basically, this is design office. So we have a lot of engineers that work with us, from engine engineers to chassis engineers. I think in our operations between here and Europe, we have about 9 engineers, and we're running basically almost every second weekend. There's a race around the world and we have a team running the cars. So this is the fabrication area. This is where all the small brackets that you can see on the car, bodywork, mounts, anything small, including the whole entire chassis, is made here. We manufacture about 10 cars per year. From start to finish with fabrication and completing the car, it's about a 6-week process. And then we ship the car directly to the customer, air freight, and basically the client has the car within 2 months. So you have to be a racing driver, obviously, and then there's a big waiting list. This is another department where we start the manufacturing process, so it's the machine shop. Like I said earlier, 90 to 95% of the car we make in-house. And when we took over the business, we only had, it was 5 machines. And 5 CNC machines. And I think we're currently sitting on 15 machines. And our latest one is this 5-axis CNC machine. For the engineers and freaks that are on the show, they'd love this machine. We make every single thing on the car. So from the hub to the upright to the engine sumps to the differential casings to the LS units in the differentials to even gears and I'd say crown wheel and pinions in the diff we make. So this currently they're running our hubs on. I can't exactly show you the part on camera, but it's one of the most crucial parts on the car, and everything you can think of on a car is made here. So as I was saying, from any small bolt or spacer, we make the tiniest of parts we make in-house. So all bolts, spacers, all your bodywork brackets and spacers, basically everything you can think of.
So you're a one-stop shop?
For our clients, yes. Whether you want an engine, you want a drive shaft, you want whatever you need for your car, is built here. Any client in the world that wants something, they would be able to get it. So that way, if a client damages his car this weekend and he's racing another race next weekend, we can fly parts out to him and supply him so that he is ready for the race next week. So on the left, we have parts that clients drop off for servicing. We have a lot of local clients, so we have, I think it's about 5 or 6 Hiluxes running in the local series. Then we have the other car manufacturers in South Africa that we supply. I'd like to say that we dominate the market of rally raid with supplying cars and building cars and parts and so on. This company has built about 130 or so odd cars.
That is insane.
Over this side is the engine room. So with the Sport, we're not allowed to run or change much of the engine. We have to have a standard block. We have to use standard pistons, standard turbo. It has to be how do I say it? It's a ready engine off the shelf from a manufacturer. So we as Toyota, we use the engine from the Land Cruiser 300, the V6 3.5 liter V6 twin turbo, and I must say these are one of the most reliable engines that we have. We can run easily about 2 to 3 seasons on one engine without having an issue. we've built this reputation where we have one of the most reliable cars on the grid, and for us it's great because, you know, Toyota is known for its reliability and so on. So no, that's one of our biggest things, and the other thing is we are competitive. So one of the best cars in the world are right here. So we get the chassis painted and so on. It comes here, a raw chassis, and then we get all the parts from sub-assembly onto the car. Everything else, if you look at it, is completely carbon fiber, lightweight, nothing is standard. So yeah,
nothing is standard in there.
If you look inside here, it's almost like a cockpit of a plane. You can have a look inside here. This car that you are seeing right here, you're lucky to see this. This is the last edition, the 50th car of this edition.
Okay.
So if you look on the wall, that's the first Hilux that was made by us. Then you can see sort of how we've evolved over the years.
Yes.
I'd say evolved, but also the rules changed. And then you can see from a small wheel, narrower car, it went to a big wheel, wider car, and then even wider, and now we at where we are now.
Yeah.
So Dakars, we've 2019, 2022, 2023, and 2025. A Hilux built by us has won. So 4 times in the toughest, toughest race in the world, as well as the Manufacturers Championship. So the World Manufacturers Championship, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025 has all been won by Hiluxes that were built here in South Africa.
Saood, what's new about the rules in the SA Rally Race?
We've gone from a paper road book, which was the last few years of racing here in South Africa has been a paper book, and now we've gone to a digital road book. So it's basically the same thing or similar to what we have in the rest of the racing throughout the world. So in Dakar, in the World Championship, in the Bar World Cups, everywhere we use is a digital road book where we have waypoints, set waypoints, and this year it's the first year that we're trying, so we're shifting from hard copy paper to a digital book, and yeah, it's exciting times. A lot of new things for the series, new learnings. So to control the tablet, we got this remote, which is basically like a robot. Green is go all the time, yellow is go, be scared, and then red is be scared but be flat out. I'm joking. But anyways, these buttons are all programmable to whatever the co-driver would prefer, whether it's next page or previous page or skip a note or something. And if you don't want to use this, you can just click on the tablet itself. Down shows the next note. And yeah, for us it's good because we're trying to make the series as close to Europe as possible, which is the leading standard of the sport, and the more we can race on that type of rules and road book and that, the more comfortable the driver and co-driver get, and the more better our pairings from South Africa that go to the Dakar and compete on the world stages will be. So it's really interesting and we're super excited for it.
So we're still at the SVR, Toyota Gazoo Racing South Africa facilities, where Saood Variawa gave us a tour of the facility. So now we're going to have a quick chat, right? You are quite young, 20, and you're a professional racing driver. Take me back to where it all started.
So, yeah, to start things off, first of all, my grandfather was a racing driver, then my dad was a racing driver for, I think it was 27 years or so, and he was also racing for Toyota for the last 4 years of his career. And I started off at the age of 5 in karting. I raced locally. I won a championship in one of my young years, and then I went to race full-time in Europe. Originally my goal was to be in Formula 1. Unfortunately, during lockdown, closed my doors to Formula 4, the Formula route. Yeah, after that things changed, but I'd say it changed for the better, because being 18 and racing my first Dakar, and 19 I made history by being the youngest ever stage winner. This year I won another stage, and we're fighting all the time with the top guys, so I was fortunate enough to be driving this car at such a young age. But before that I was racing the touring cars, so at the time it was known as GTC, which was the pinnacle of motorsport, track racing motorsport in South Africa. In my first year with Toyota, I was Rookie of the Year. I finished second in the championship. I was actually fighting for the win of the championship. And the next year I became the youngest GTC champion in the category. Last year I became the youngest ever champion, South African rally raid champion. So I won the whole series locally, which also adds to your learnings, your experience, your knowledge. You know, racing is my life. I enjoy every bit of it, and I'm grateful that it's my job.
So how many races in total for the year?
So if I calculate everything together, it's about 25 weekends, so more or less half the year.
Yeah.
Just purely in the car. So quite a busy schedule, but it's what we dream of.
When we were doing the tour around the facility, you made mention of how the Dakar is the most difficult race in the world. What makes you say that?
It's known. Everyone knows the Dakar is the most difficult, toughest race in the world. It really tests machinery and the driver and co-driver to the max. You have to be super fit and conditioned for racing. So if I take some guy that's just CrossFit, super fit, and put him in the Dakar, he's not going to survive, because the forces that we go through and stuff in the car, it's like sitting in the ring with Mike Tyson or something, getting a few hard shots every day, and it's a lot that you have to get used to and condition your body to. And we do a lot of training, basically your core, your neck, your back, your shoulders, a lot of general fitness and strength, but you have to be able to compete at your A game for 14 days straight, which is a big ask on your body. And then it's the mental side of things, where you cannot quit. You cannot have any doubt in your mind. You have to be super strong mentally, and you have to keep on pushing. That's the reason it's one of the toughest races in the world. Just the feeling of finishing the toughest race in the world and doing well in the toughest race in the world, winning stages in the toughest race in the world, it's a lot better than racing a track race and winning. Dakar is the Formula One for any off-road driver. It's amazing, and I think I'm one of the first young people that's in the sport, and a lot of youngsters are now looking at Dakar, seeing us and saying, I want to do that, instead of not just knowing track racing. And I like to be an influence to and a role model to young drivers.
What's the big dream for Saood?
My dream is to win Dakar, to win Dakar and become a world champion. And my goal is, I plan on trying to win Dakar within the next 3 years. I'm working hard for it. I'm pushing. I've done a lot in the past few years. I've learned a lot. I've won a lot. I've broken a lot of records. So my goal is to win the Dakar.
Before the 8th leg of the NASCAR